Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So let's try this again, shall we? For some reason YouTube did not want me to upload this one with any sound on, so I'm actually having to redo the whole video again. So if it feels a bit rushed, yeah, my bad. However, this is round one of our Mini Cooper challenge for our NT Racing League. This got underway on last Sunday, so the 2nd of October. As you can see, they have a single qualifying before a single race each round, so these will have 6 races throughout the championship. It does say 20 laps there, however we shortened it down to 15, so to ensure basically all races got underway during a weekend. However, before we get into the actual video itself, I just want to give a big thank you to the championship sponsor and my sponsor, the Controller People. For all your controller needs, head over to the link in the description and they will be able to provide you with custom controllers, pro controllers and all that good stuff. For me personally, I'd rather spend that little bit more money on a better built quality controller than the ones that are actually provided by Sony themselves. I think I've already gone through 4 within just under 2 years of owning a PlayStation 5. So yeah, go head over there after this video and pick yourself up some awesome custom PS5 controllers. So with that out of the way, let's go and get the Mini Cooper challenge underway in the NT Racing League. Round 1, Brands Hatch Indy, 6 turns, 15 races. Sadly we did have a dropout, but this is going to be a close one. Sit back and enjoy, guys. So it's time to get the mini challenge underway. We have Alexander leading the way, followed by Jace in P2 and myself in P3. These are kind of the middle of the road championship, so they are a bit more powerful than the Roadsters. However, they're not quite on the level of the Super Tourers, which you will see the coverage of probably over the next few days. They do run 3 races, so it will take me a little bit longer to get the coverage done for those. However, this is my second time commentating this race, so it may feel like you've probably seen some of this footage before. However, I've had to literally record the whole video from scratch, including the whole race footage again, sadly. But we have Alexander leading the way with Jace just following in behind very closely in these early stages. In fact, most people got away rather cleanly, especially in comparison to the Roadsters, where everyone seemed to be all over the place into turn 1. We did have a car go off into the gravel, I believe, at turn 1, and I believe that may have been Reed. He will end up having a DNF in this race, so really not the best of races for him. But that means the points table that I actually have is a little bit wrong, because I didn't actually pick up that he left the race, so that'll be 0 points for him, sadly, towards the end of this. So early doors, we've got myself making a move on Jace down the inside, lots of room given, so there's quite a bit of respect between races here, but you know, a little bit of bumping, a little bit of love tapping. It is pretty much guaranteed to happen. It just is what it is. There was a few kind of moments I have spotted over the 2 times I've gone through this footage, people not obeying blue flags and such. I will be pulling a few drivers up on that over the coming, I guess, few rounds, just to kind of just, you know, police it a bit more. Look, if you've got a blue flag, please just move out of the way. So let's get back into the commentary, and we have Timo up in P3 now. We've essentially got Alexander just running away. However, P2 is, you know, very tightly contested. There's a potential of around about 5 cars possibly being able to, you know, take that away from myself at the minute. However, it's looking like the pack's, you know, rather quite close and tight, really. We've got a few, you know, sort of stray cars towards the back there. As you can see, they're coming through turn 1. That looked like a white car going off there, so I've got a feeling that may have been demonetized vet. He did have a very good podium within the Mazda Roadster Cup, but it's looking like he's having a bit of a tough time when it comes to the minis, and that is myself having a little off. This is going to cause me to drop back a ton of positions considering how close the pack is, so I've actually had to let a bunch of cars through, so that's going to actually drop me down to P11 and cause me to go on a recovery drive. We've got our stand in here, Viper. He did an absolutely awesome job in pretty much all the races. Hopefully he will get a full-time C seat in the near future. As you can see, P7 is Largent, one of the more, I'd say, consistent and clean drivers of the bunch. He's, you know, always putting in a good shift, followed by Archangel in P8. We can see Andy just back there in P9 and Atom in P10. They're having quite a big battle, so we'll just go on board with off-world Atom and see if he can close in Andy anymore. It's looking like he's just lost a bit of pace through that corner, and Andy's managed to pull away and actually start closing in on Archangel there. As you can see, I've got myself in P11 after that off, so that's going to cause me to have to do a pretty big recovery drive. However, it was quite early on, so as long as I'm consistent and people, you know, keep getting in little accidents and scuffs, it should allow me to close the gap up. Vinny Bear P12, Jodie P13, for some reason her pink livery not loading in this time, but she's always pretty much running pink cars in pretty much every race we do. She actually is holding on pretty well there in P13. It seems like she's having a much better time in the Mini than she did within the Mazda Roadster. To be honest, a lot of people seem to struggle in that car because it's so close to stock. It has a lot of weird kind of handling characteristics. See, Demonetized, he was the car that must have spun off. He's P14 currently, with Reed in P15. Like I did say, he did end up with a DNF, sadly, but hopefully we will, you know, he'll have a better round next time around. Alexander, though, he continues to lead the way, and lead the way by quite a bit at this point. I'm pretty sure as long as he, you know, keeps it on the tarmac, he's surely going to get the win here. I don't think anyone's going to catch him. He seems to have great pace. He managed to stay out of the way of any of the carnage or accidents. So, you know, well deserved to him that he's pretty much stretching his lead at this point. As we can see, Timo and Jace still very close over P2. They're pretty much going to follow each other around right up until the end in this footage. So very good driving by, you know, both of them really. Jace pretty much, you know, doing the best he can in the Mini. He actually had a really clean drive, to be honest, pretty much throughout, or, you know, the whole weekend really, or, you know, sorry, race day. As you can see, Viper is P4 now, so he's having an excellent race. As we can see, the Binners here is actually dropping down the standings there, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. Ultimate Player, he is another standing. He's currently P5, chased down by Largent. Like I said, Largent, a very clean and consistent racer, and doesn't make many mistakes. He just seems to be able to, you know, hold his pace pretty much throughout the whole of the race. Is he going to manage to get a move done on Ultimate Player here? Let's just go on board and see if he's going to be able to get the rundown into turn 1. He's in the slipstream. Is he going to be able to pull one out? It's looking like it's just a little bit too far back. Ultimate quite early on the brakes there, as Largent manages to keep that pace going, but it's looking like Ultimate has survived any kind of move there from Largent. Archangel P7, quite a good race for him so far, chased closely by Andy, and you can see I've got myself up into P9 past Adam there in P10. So he's you know, again, another consistent driver. He's not always up at the front, however he seems to have consistent pace in pretty much anything that he drives. As you can see, we'll just go on board with myself. Are we going to manage to close in on Andy on these final few corners on lap 7? It's not looking like we can quite get the move done yet, but we are right on the bumper there. Are we going to get the slipstream down the main straight? It is possible, but again, with these cars being, you know, highly regulated and all pretty much equal and you know, balanced out, it's looking like it's not going to be able to be done this time. Are we going to, you know, try and take advantage of any slips or slides? Andy's gone a little bit wide there. We're going to go side by side. We have managed to get ourselves into P8. Andy just having a bit of a slip out of that corner, allowing us to, you know, pretty much get the move done a lot easier than it really should have been. As you can see, Largent has dropped back there, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him. I don't know if he's had a run-in with Ultimate Play. There's two cars have gone off, Archangel and both Largent. We've got the move done on Archangel there, and we are going to get it done on Largent there. So very rare mistake from Largent, looking like both cars just trying to push it to the max and ended up on the bit of the grass bank in there. As Andy's now making a move on Archangel. He's through nice and cleanly. He'll be looking to charge down Largent. Whether or not he can do it, who knows? He's going to tuck back into the slip. In fact, no, he's gone right off into the barrier there, so not sure what's happened to him there, but he's dropped back to P9. Really odd incident, to be honest. You know, to just kind of go straight on there. So We'll be checking in with him and see what really happened. Off-wheeled at him, he is P10 still. Again, just maintaining, but it's looking like Vinny Bay may be actually catching another kind of mid-pack racer that's always very, consistent as the Binners here. Although he had a pretty great start, to be honest, he's dropped way down. So we did see him tumble down the order, but I'm not quite sure how, or how he's ended up so far down. Demonetized Vet, he's not having the best of rounds. He's usually a very quick driver, to be honest. Jodie P14 now, so Demonetized has overtaken her. Again, like I said, the pink livery not loading in for some reason, as Reed has gone wide there onto the grass. So Jodie is going to be looking to lap him anytime soon at this rate. So yeah, it's just not the best rounds for him, to be honest. Hopefully he can have a better round next time as he puts the hazard lights on. Alexander, he continues to lead the race. There's not much I can really cover in terms of this because he's so far ahead of everyone else. It's looking like the top threes began to spread out now in these final stages. Timo P2, as you can see, Jace just a little bit back. Looking like he's actually being caught by Viper there, so I don't know if he's had an off or anything. We've got a yellow flag out and there is a car on the track map in the barrier by the look of it. I'm going to assume that is probably Reed, so yeah, not the weekend he really wanted, to be honest, in terms of the mini challenge. So hopefully he'll have a better weekend next time we go around for round 2, which will actually be at Watkins Glen short course. As we continue to look down the order, we've got Ultimate Player in P5, myself now up to P6, and managing to gap a little bit to Largent in P7. Andy's dropped down a bit more there, so I'm not sure where he's gone. He's quite a bit back, so both myself and Largent managing to gap the peering of Archangel and Andy there. So looking like Andy's managing to sort of get himself back on the rear end of Archangel there. So Largent P7, he's again, like I said, very consistent. He had a very, quite a clean round. He did drop back a little bit, so I'm going to assume maybe him and Ultimate Player had a bit of contact. Ultimate did seem to be a little bit aggressive and not really, too thoughtful of the others around him. So we're going to go on board Andy now and see if he can get any move done on Archangel. It's looking like he dropped back a bit there. However, he's reeled him in as Arch very aggressive into that corner, almost getting it sideways. In fact, he's got quite a good run there. So Andy is dropping back quite a bit at this point. This is the battle for P8. We pretty much had consistent battles throughout the field, so there was all sorts of people in their own little pack. As we've just seen Vinny Bay go by and Demonetized chasing him down. The Binners here now P13, really not a good round for him at all. As myself, we have managed to take fastest laps, so that will be a 5 bonus points for myself. So managing to make a few points up that I may have lost from dropping those positions from my earlier off. Alexander, he's going to continue to just absolutely dominate this race. There's no way anybody's going to catch him at this point with only 3 laps to go. So we're going to see Jodie here as well going across the line to start her 13th lap. 12th lap. I believe. So Alexander on lap 13 now. Not really much longer to go, to be honest. And he's surely going to take this win at this point, as he's catching a little bit of traffic, and that's Jodie actually making a move on the inside of the Binners here. So he's that was a pretty awesome overtake from her. So well done to her. Binners here, just again another one that's not having the best of rounds. Timo, though, he is P2, and JC's actually looking like he's closed in a little bit more there in comparison to the last few times. So with only a couple of laps to go, is Timo actually going to be able to hold on to P2 here, as Jace follows him, quite closely, to be honest, and it looks like he's reeling him in. We had a car go sliding off there. I'm going to assume that was Jodie. But it's looking like she's managed to catch that one, so well done to her. So Jace continues his push to try and get that second position. I think first is pretty much guaranteed to Alexander at this point. We've got Viper in P4, dropping quite a far bit back. As you can see, that's just myself in the distance trying to close in on him, with Ultimate Play and Largent still within the group. So we're all going to try and get on the back of Viper in this dying stage, as we only have 2 more laps to go. Viper's going to be very consistent actually throughout the most of these races, to be honest. He was fairly good, did a decent recovery drive in the Roadster, and then he's had a pretty consistent race all the way throughout here, actually getting himself in a decent position for some very good points. As we can see, Archangel is still P8, being followed by Andy with only a couple laps to go. All over the place, Arch there. Andy's going to go for the move on the inside, and actually Arch is going to turn into him, so Yeah, a little bit naughty, but it kind of is what it is. Andy's probably gonna give him a love tap. Yeah, he does. So he just nudges him a little bit wide, and gets his revenge and goes through and takes P8. So bit of karma there, to be honest, with Archangel. But it is what it is. Andy is through, but Arch is not gonna let him go that easily. As you can see, he's right on his bumper with off-world at him in P10, just a little bit behind. So Alexander is on his final lap, his final go round, and he's pretty much dominated the whole race. Really clean race from him, staying out of the way of any incidents, not really put a foot wrong, and it's just allowed him to gap the rest of the field, not really getting caught in any battles either. So while everyone else is just squabbling for positions, he's just quite cleanly and quietly took the race win here for the first ever race win for the mini challenge, and he's going to go and take that in style. Well done to him. Timo, is he going to get P2? Yes, he's just held off Jace, who got P3, so that rounds up our podium positions. And Viper, it's me and him side by side here. Who's going to get P4? Just Viper on the line, followed by Largent P6. Ultimate Player dropping back at the end for P7. Is Andy going to manage to hold on to P8? Yeah, he's quite comfortably gapped them, so P8 for Andy. Well done to him. Offwards actually got himself into P9 there. Art's dropping even further back, because we're going to have a whole bunch of cars go through. So awesome driving by pretty much everyone. So let's have a look at our point standings after round 1 at Brands Hatch. Indy in P1 with 55 points, getting the bonus for pole position is Alexander. P2 is Timo with 45 points. P3 is Jace with 40 points. Viper P4 with 35 points. Myself in P5, it should actually say 35 points, because I did get the bonus for the fastest lap of the race. So me and Viper actually equal there. P6 Largent 25 points. Ultimate Player P7 with 20 points. Andy P8 with 15 points. P9 for Atom with 10 points, sorry. P10 is Archangel with 9 points. Vinny P11 8 points. P12 Demonetized Vet with 7 points. P13 is The Bin Is Here with 5 points. Jody P14 with 3 points. Although it does say 2 points for Reed, he actually DNF'd, which I didn't notice, so that puts him on actually 0 points. DNF is obviously going to not count as any points in terms of the championship. So that's how we look in the Mini Cooper Challenge after round 1. These will have 5 more races in the championship before our winner is crowned, and at this rate it's going to be Alexander with that absolutely dominant display, closely followed by Timo. So that's going to be an interesting battle to watch, and hopefully as we go to different tracks it mixes it up. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Check that link in the description for all your controller needs. We do have a Discord, so if you are interested in joining this league, jump in the Discord, and hopefully we will see some more of you when we do expand come season 2. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.